Hi guys, and welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it so very much. Welcome, my name is Aiden. I'm so happy that you are here. Today I have my eyeshadow roundup. This is for the month of July. I know I'm behind. I'm trying to get caught back up, but I didn't get a film for over a month. So we're going to go over all the eyeshadow palettes that I wore in July. All of these I had worn one time before in kind of a chopping block series, I guess you would say. So I wore all of these for 3 days each, and I have thoughts on all of them. There's a couple that I'm trying to decide if I should declutter or not. Let me know your thoughts as we go along, but there's a whole bunch in here. Okay, let's do a quick overview of the palettes I am going to talk about today. First up, we have from Estate Cosmetics and Bailey Sarian. This is the Venice Fling palette. Then I have from IBY Beauty the Poolside palette. From Nars, the Afterglow palette. From Beauty Creations, this Murillo twins with Brittany Murillo. This one just flipped open and I stuck my fingers in it, so. Then we have from Maybelline New York, we have the Gigi Hadid Warm palette. And then we have another one from Maybelline. This is the Lemonade Craze palette. Then we have from Colourpop, this is the Yes Please palette. It says cute AF, I know. It has a little staining on it too. But it is called the Yes Please palette actually. I have two from Lime Crime. I have the Venus XL2 as well as the Venus XL. So we got both of those going on. We have from Beauty Bay the Neutral 16 Pan palette. They've done a couple other ones. Then there's also Violet Voss hashtag palette. So let me know if you've tried any of these. All right, so there you can see we have the 6 shades swatched. They are pretty light. You can build them up a little bit. They are very soft, I will say that about them. You have 2 shimmers and 4 mattes. 4 mattes. Let me try to do my math. So there they are side by side. This was a blah palette to me. I felt like it was okay for work or you want more natural type of looks, which, you know, sometimes you want those type of things, and it worked fine for those. But I felt like the formula was just okay. It wasn't spectacular. There was a lot of similar looks going on. It's not one that you can get a huge variety of looks. And I got kind of bored. Like I had 2 crease shades. I had a couple matte, well, I guess there's 3 technically shimmers. This one's supposed to be a shimmer, which it's not the best shimmer anyway. Anyway, it's not my favorite. It was one that I'm trying to decide if I should declutter it or not, but that one is definitely in last place for me. And then in the place just above it in 10th place, we have Lemonade Craze. I loved this palette when it came out. I was so excited about this palette and the colors that are in it, but I think I found some better palettes since then. So here we are. We have them all swatched right there, and this is what the palette looks like. I felt like the mattes were a bit subdued. Some of them were better than others. This one was very chunky when I put it on, so there's a lot of fallout. There's also some fallout with this one and this white one up here at the top. So that was an issue that I faced with this one. I also felt like it was just getting a little bit old. The shimmers were not that the shimmers were really outstanding in the first place, but they just felt a little lackluster. There's a couple that worked better than others, but overall it just felt like okay. It wasn't as good as I remembered it being. So there was that. This is another one that I'm trying to decide, like, do I want to declutter it? Do I kind of want to keep it for nostalgia's sake? And I did enjoy it. I didn't not like it, but it just wasn't as good as I remembered it. Next up, we have the Venus XL from Lime Crime. This palette is quite large. There are 18 shades in here. I have not worn all 18 shades still after trying it for several days. There's a few. I haven't tried Aphrodite. I haven't tried New Classic, which other ones don't have any. Celestial, I haven't dipped into either Triumph or Botticelli. I wanted to kind of say that before I swatch them so that you get kind of an idea of what I haven't used yet. You can kind of see, I think, some of those where they've been swatched or not. I got them all swatched on my hand, which was a feat. Yes, there is a shade there. That's this blank canvas here. It's just very, very, very light. There you go. I was like, it feels like it's getting darker in here. So that's what they all look like. Overall, I felt like this was a really dark color story. It needed more balance. There are 18 shades in here, but there is not a lot of shimmer. I needed some more light colors. It needed some more shimmer shades. I don't know, it feels a little too dark and heavy for me. I want some more lightness in there. There are some pretty shades like this one down here. This one was almost like a stain right here, which is this Triumphs right here. And it definitely was a stain. You probably could use that as a lipstick, honestly. But I don't dislike it. I like the formula overall. I have had some good luck with Lime Crime. I know some people haven't. I've only bought them from Ulta though, so it's not like I've purchased from the website. But I don't love the palette. It's not a love for me. It's not a must-have for me. I think I like their smaller ones better. But it was an okay palette. But so far, none of these I would recommend. Next up, we have from Colourpop. This is the Yes Please palette. It actually says it on the back. This was one of their first palettes that they did. And oh my gosh, this is back when I was trying to collect them all, which was a while ago. Remember that? Here we go. We have them all swatched. I felt like this faded a bit throughout the day as I was wearing it. I don't know if that's because this is an older palette or if it's because I was using a refresh spray during the day when I was wearing this. But I felt like it is degrading a little bit in terms of how powdery the products are. They take a little bit more work. What else did I say? The mattes are really good. It faded just a little bit, like I said. I still love this color story though. Oh my gosh. The yellows, the reds, it's a really good mix in here. And I definitely will be keeping it. And I want to wear my palettes more. I'm still trying to work my way through all of the palettes that I own, but I still really like some of these older palettes. I'm like, oh, I just want to play with them a little bit more. So I don't know what to do with that other than just taking off my makeup and doing makeup more than once a day, which I'm not that type of a person. Next up is one that came in my Ipsy bag last year, the year before, something like that. It is the Beauty Creations Murillo Trends, and this one is Brittany. Other than, I think this is also the person who did, are these the same twins that did the Born Dreamer preview? I have no idea. Anyway, this is what the color story looks like. As you can see, those shimmers have caused staining on the palette itself. So it's like they are leaking out oil and causing issues with the cardboard packaging, which is one of the reasons why this was just a little bit lower in terms of my ranking. I think the colors are very pretty. Also, it has this chunky silver, which I didn't even swatch because I was like, nope, I'm not messing with that. I do not want to have to deal with cleaning that up. But the colors are very pretty. It's a pastel palette. You have some pretty shades in there. I like the pinks. I like the purples. The white is a good one for the brow bone. Just a good overall color story. This is the first one that I feel like I actually I got everything I wanted out of it and I felt pretty. I felt pretty with the Colourpop too, but this one I just feel like it's a little bit higher quality because it's a little newer, I think too. They're bit pigmented and some shimmers can be a little chunky, but it works well. And they're really soft. All of the mattes are super soft in this one. And the shimmers are nice. They're could be a little chunky. I prefer putting them on with a finger than with a brush, but that is the Murillo Trends Brittany palette. So this is halfway through. This is the halfway point. This is the Poolside palette by IBY. I also got this in a Ipsy back in the day. This is what the color story looks like. Have swatched it, like I just swatched it, and I'm thinking, maybe I should have switched this one and the next one. So think that this might have made it to number 5 instead of number 6. this is what the color story looks like. It is so pretty. I was swatching and I was like, man, why didn't I rank this higher? There's a lot of shimmers in here though. A lot of shimmers. There are some pretty satins in here as well. There's only a couple, I would say, true mattes in the bunch. I would say the blue is a true matte blue, and then this cream, and then there's a lot of more like satiny type shades or shimmers. It's so pretty. Oh my gosh, I need to wear this one more. I think I have completely underestimated this. It was more pigmented than I thought it was going to be. As you probably can see, like there's some good pigment going on there. It lasted really well as well on the eyes. So yeah, I think I should have put this one as number 5. We're going to keep it in this order because this is the order I'm filming it and everything. But I think it should have been number 5. And then I should have put my Violet Voss hashtag palette as number 6, because I love the Violet Voss formula, but the color story, this one just can't compete. As I get ready to swatch all of these, I want to say this black and this one right here, lit, I have never put my finger or anything in. I can tell they have been untouched. I feel like golds might not have been touched at all either. Looking at it, it looks pretty clean as well, but everything else I have used at least once, if not multiple times. I'm going to do this in 2 swatches just because I don't want to go all the way. You don't need to see my fan. I didn't want to go all the way through and try to swatch on my arm. I'm not feeling that right now. So these are the top 2 rows. As you can see, these are probably my least favorite colors. I like browns and that all right, but I don't know, there's a lot of golds in here, so this is not my favorite Violet Voss palette, but the shimmers work really well. They have a punch to them. As you can see with these, the mattes are soft and they blend really well. So I love the Violet Voss formula. I just don't love this color scheme as much as the one that I just talked about. So that's why it's just a little lower. But let me swatch the bottom 2 rows. Okay, here we have the bottom 2 rows. As you can see, like right when we hit this, the last like 7 shades, I really like. I love the purples. I love those more pinky tones. So overall, I think this is a good quality. I really like the formula in these pro palettes. I don't know about all of her little ones. I was at one time like, oh, I'm gonna get them all, and then they just like everything else started exploding. So I don't have all of the palettes, but I am going to definitely keep that one and enjoy it. I think they did some nice colors. I mean, look at those shimmers in there. I think there we go. Otherwise it distorts the colors. I think like this one, I really love that one. I love those ones right there. So some really good colors in there. The next palette is the Venus XL2. Very different color story from the first one. And I also, once again, wanted to show you like some of these I have not touched. It looks like this one, Forbidden, I haven't touched that one. Laurel and Radiant here in the second row. Stella looks like maybe just a titch. West hasn't been touched, Phoenix hasn't been touched, and Locust hasn't been touched. So several of these I haven't used at all, and I just wanted to let you know that before I go in and swatch them so that you could get kind of an idea of what I have tried in this palette. If the last Venus XL palette was too dark and didn't have enough contrast of lights and shimmers, this makes up for it. There is a lot of light shades in here. There are a lot of shimmers in here too. There are some beautiful shimmers. I'm going to put this up here because, oh my goodness, like this one right here in the middle. Wow. There's just some absolutely beautiful well, there you go. Don't want it to distort the colors, but some absolutely beautiful shades in here. I think they did a really nice job. It's a little green for my liking, and maybe needed a couple more mattes actually. So it's kind of like they overcorrected the other way. You might be able to use some of these in conjunction. Like, oh my gosh, this one down here that I hadn't swatched before, that is Forbidden. Oh my gosh, I swatched that and I was like, ooh, it is so pretty. So I think this one is a really nice one. That is why it is ranked at number 4, because I enjoyed it. I had some fun with it. I felt it just had some really pretty shades in it. I got overly excited about this one. So I felt like the shimmers performed okay. They didn't perform the best on the eyes because there are two different formulas in there. I forgot to mention that. There are two different distinct formulas in here, and some of them, like the screen, worked much better with the finger, but it felt like it might be getting a little bit of hard pan on it. But then there are like the more traditional shimmers in there too. So keep that in mind. There's two different shimmer formulas in there. I just got excited about how pretty they swatched and forgot to talk about how they performed on the eyes. Next up is the Nars Afterglow palette. This one I feel like is not quite the same Nars quality as some of the other palettes. There are some good shades in here, but there are some that are a little disappointing, and some that swatch better don't swatch as good as they perform on the eyes. That's what I was trying to say. So like these two mattes here, I felt like they performed better on the eyes. You could build them up a little bit, but as you can see with the swatches, they're a little lackluster. This is a really chunky gold. It's not my favorite type. There's a couple shades, like I feel like this shade and this shade are pretty similar when you swatch them close to each other. So I didn't love that part of it. I felt like the color story was just okay. I was expecting a little bit more out of this one. I don't know. I felt like I wanted the shimmers to be a little bit more shimmery, them to just be a little bit more standout and to work a little bit better. They're a little bit drier of a formula than I tend to like. Let's see. Color story okay, formula is good. Like the mattes more than the shimmers. But these two shimmers were my favorites. This one is more of a satin there, as you can kind of tell from the textures that are here. Yeah, it was a good-ish palette. Not my favorite, but I felt like I got a little bit better use out of it than some of the other palettes. That's why it's higher up. But it's not my favorite Nars palette. There are better Nars palettes out there, but compared to some of these other ones, it was a pretty good palette. Top two. So this next one, the color story is interesting. I said it was pretty good, but it's really because of how it's some of the shades, not all of the shades. So this is the Venice Fling palette from Estate Cosmetics with Bailey Sarian, and this is what it looks like. So you have 9 colors. It is for the cross in here. So the cross shades are the ones I really like. The 4 on the outer corners, not so much. I don't care for those as much. The shimmer in the middle, ooh, it is so pretty. That is my favorite part of this palette, is that shimmer in the middle. But those 4, I mean, I can kind of use the ones in the 4 corners, but they're just not as interesting to me, or the ones that I want to reach for that I felt like really had a good look. It was really that shade. That's why I'm here. The mattes are really nice and soft. They blended pretty well. They are pigmented though, and the shimmers are pigmented as well, so you have to be careful with those. So go in with a light hand, but yeah, I really liked that kind of cross in the middle more so than the 4 corners. But that is why this is the only thing I've ever had from Estate Cosmetics, so I was pretty impressed with it. Drumroll. For number 1, let me know, before I show you this, let me know if you've tried any of these palettes, what your thoughts are on them as well. Like if you agree with where I ranked them. It was a little difficult. I'm finding it more difficult as I go to kind of rank them, and I think that's because I've eliminated a lot of palettes that I don't love as much, and these are more ones that I find interesting or are new. Anyway, the number 1 palette is from Beauty Bay. This is the 16 color palette in neutral. They had like a 9 and they had like a giant one too, but I picked this one up almost 2 years ago, I guess. Wow, that can't be right. Anyway, I have not tried all of the shades in here. Once again, I wanted to kind of point them out. So the dark brown here and the black I haven't tried. I don't think I've tried this one either, the sugar. I've tried that one. These 2 look untouched, as does that one. This one doesn't look touched either, which I'm a little surprised at. And then that one looks untouched, which I'm very surprised at. But I didn't get a chance to wear all of them, obviously, but I did wear several of them, and I'm just surprised that some of them don't look as used as others. So I swatched them all. A couple of them still don't really look touched, so I might have used them. This one doesn't look touched. That one doesn't look touched still. So that's interesting. I can't believe that they don't look touched, some of them. Anyway, let's, oh no. This flipped open on my finger and I put a huge dent in that shade and it's all over my legs. I got my self cleaned up just a little bit. That is so disappointing. I can't believe I did that. Oh, that's what you get for trying to hold back the mirror. So this is what they look like all swatched. There are some very pretty shades in here. This is why it was number one. I just felt like I got a wide variety of neutral looks in here. I had some cooler tones, some warmer tones, just a lot of different ones. There's some beautiful shimmers in here. Really like the shimmers. The mattes are really soft. It's a really nice formula. I had some fun with it when I was using it. Some shades I liked better than others, of course. But I thought they did a really nice job on this palette, and I felt like overall it was just really good. So that's why I ended up putting it at number one. So let me know if you've tried any of these palettes, what your thoughts and opinions are on them. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I can't wait to talk to you next time.